Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ask a Care Manager. My name is Ryan, and I'm joined with Teresa Jackson, our Director of Care Management. We both work for EasyLiving, which is a home care and care management company that has had the pleasure of serving the Tri-County area for over 20 years, Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough counties. Every week, we do a care manager video about what care management does, how it can help your loved ones, how it can help you, or how it can help one of your clients. So we post these videos on a weekly basis, and we usually get some good feedback from our audience, and we have some real live questions. So just like the last 2 weeks, we actually have a question from a follower. So Teresa, the question this week is, my dad has been socially isolating for 2 months, and he's about to go stir crazy. Now that things are starting to open back up, how do I encourage him to stay home and stay safe and not go out and protect himself?
Oh, okay. Well, this is, yeah, I've heard this. So,
I think we're all asking that same question.
I know. It's like, okay, raise your hand if you haven't heard your parents say this. I know everything's opening back up, and we're all very concerned about going back out there. What precautions are people taking? Are people becoming lax in washing their hands, socially isolating, socially distancing themselves? And so, like with many parents, like my mother, she's very anxious. She wants to get out.
Sure.
Even though she's an introvert, she's pretty much at her limit to wanting to stay at home by herself. Absolutely. So, and again, I've had this conversation with her. I've had this conversation with other family members, clients. And imagine, telling your dad that he can't go out. I mean, remember the first time, when you were 18, you had a job, you had your car, but you're still living at your mom and dad's house. And they said, now be home by midnight. Yeah, you're not listening to them. And telling your dad or mom to not do something, it's not very helpful. Yeah. And they might just decide, well, they're going to show you and do it anyway. So this involves a deeper conversation that you need to have.
Sure.
So if you really want to make an impact, you need to sit down and have a talk with your mom or dad or whomever it is that you want to maybe stay safe. And because the conversation may have happened this way, where the parent goes, I've lived a healthy life, a long life, and if I catch it, so what? Maybe it's just my time,
mm-hmm.
And you have to respect somebody that's lived a long life, that they're in that position in their life where, if it's their time, that they're ready, and that's good. But what they might not be realizing, because when someone says that, they're thinking, if I go to sleep and wake up in heaven, that's okay. I can handle that, and I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
When they're having that conversation to themselves or with their child or somebody else, they're not thinking, if I get sick, have to be hospitalized, and in a lot of pain, discomfort, can't breathe. Remember, this is a respiratory infection.
Mm-hmm.
It's affecting your ability to breathe. If they were thinking, well, I might catch this and slowly feel like I'm suffocating to death, and then I'm going to have to be intubated, and I may or may not have somebody do CPR to me and break some ribs. That's not what they're thinking about. And it's a very hard conversation to have, but it can be done. And you can say, Dad, I'm very concerned. I know that, you've lived a healthy life and a long life, and you want to do what you want to do. And I respect that. But I don't want the end of your story to be like this, to be a COVID death.
Yeah, traumatic and tragic.
Exactly. Because that's not what they're thinking. They're thinking, I'm going to fall asleep, wake up in heaven, and that's okay. And so, and usually it's a more difficult conversation for the child to have than for the adult senior that feels like they've lived a long and healthy life to have.
Yeah.
They can have a realistic conversation. It's the child that goes, I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about this. But you really need to, because if you want to get your mom or dad or whomever to protect themselves, that's the real conversation you need to have. I want you to, if it's your time, I'm all for honoring your wishes and not doing anything to prolong it. But I want to make sure the end of your story is a good one, not a COVID death, which could be tragic and, like you said, very harsh. So, find out what can be done to keep them safe. Like, again, we're doing telehealth visits. We're going in, we're monitoring our clients' pulse ox, their blood pressure. We're enabling them to sit down in front and talk with their doctors via telehealth.
Sure.
To help make sure that they are healthy. But then again, if they're going to go out, stay safe. Keep up with the CDC's recommendations. They change daily. One day they say you can't sit in a chair, but then the next day, yes, you can. It's all about the droplets. So stay informed. Don't be scared. Make sure you get your information from reliable sources. And because I can tell you the social isolation that comes along with what's been going on, a lot of seniors have been going through this for years.
Sure.
So we now get the wake-up call, oh, this is what it's like to be alone and by ourselves.
Exactly.
And it's very hard for them cognitively, and it can lead to depression, dementia. So try to work with them and respect their wishes to want to go out and see how you can make it safe for them.
Yeah, and I think too, if they do have the ability to drive, tell them to go out for a safe drive. Roll the windows down, go for a nice drive out in the sunny air and get some fresh air that prevents them from being around anyone. I think too that if they want to, they can hire one of our caregivers. They can provide the companionship. We obviously have these very high-level protocols for reducing COVID transmission. Our caregivers can provide companionship too. Or take them out for a drive, or like you said, with our care management team, assist them with those kind of difficult situations where they're feeling isolated and be able to have those conversations and talk them through it.
Exactly. And now if they can't drive and you haven't taken the keys away yet, that's going to be another day another conversation we'll have to have.
Yes, that should be our next Ask the Care Manager.
Exactly.
We know that's, unfortunately, that's a frequent situation that usually is the first indication that there might be some need for some more help. But definitely, I think I saw
a silver alert coming into work today. So it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes. So, but yes, like you said, I think it's they don't think about that conversation, who it's going to affect, not just themselves when they want to put themselves and possibly in that danger. It's not just about them; it's about their family member too. Which it's understandable that they feel that way, but like you said, you don't want them to go through this traumatic and tragic death, or even not even death, but just suffering for possibly weeks on end, and maybe not coming out the same again.
Yeah, we have a client that's in the hospital that's had to be retested like 5 or 6 times because it's positive, it's negative, it's positive, it's negative. She feels fine, but imagine having to go through that, to have that test, which is not, it's uncomfortable, the test itself.
Yeah. So again, thank you so much, Teresa, for joining us today and answering another one of our audience questions. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. If you do have any questions you would like to submit, as always, you can post them in the comment section. You can send us a message on our Facebook page, or you can visit our website, and there's a submission form on our website also. So our website is www.easylivingfl.com, or you can always call the office too. Thank you again, Teresa, for joining. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today, and we'll see everyone next week.
Bye-bye.